invasion of privacy. How omniscient government supercomputers can work for you.
Losing something can be so frustrating. It's hard to remember where we put things. And psychics can be so expensive. But thanks to the new Department of Homeland Security, losing something will soon be a thing of the past. I'm the Constitution Hugger. Hey guys, where are my keys? Thanks. You guys are sweethearts.
Homeland Security is every patriot's duty. You can get into the act too.
But, Stephen, you're probably being recorded as saying, doesn't all this government spying on its citizens mean losing our basic freedoms? Of course not. It means gaining limits on those freedoms. Something Uncle Sam likes to call Freedom Plus.
And there's so many more benefits. In a fear-based economy, everybody's a spy. Total surveillance means total employment. Also, all additional benefits classified under the United States Patriot Act of 2001. For further information about these benefits, report to federal detention centers. Happy clown candy centers.
Of course, not everybody can handle that much freedom. For those who absolutely need their privacy, these convenient privacy boxes are just the ticket to get away from it all. I'm Stephen Colbert. I hope you've learned something tonight, but most of all, I hope you enjoy the police state.
You fools! You're in danger! Can't you see? They're after you! They're after all of us! Our wives, our children, everyone! You're next! You're next! You're next!
You first met them right after the 9/11 attack. They were the ones guarding the secret mountain bunker where top government officials would go in a national emergency. Take a look at the patch on their uniforms, because this is what you'll mostly be staring at after a major terrorist attack. It's the mark of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, police. FEMA's most important role would come after a major terrorist attack. The minute President Bush declares a national emergency, FEMA becomes the boss. Federal documents lay out plans for what will happen to you if you survive. It's called consequence management. Executive orders going back to John F. Kennedy and the Cold War kick in. Order number 11002 directs the Postmaster General to register all residents, including the mayor, so movement and relocation can be controlled. Executive Order 10995 says FEMA takes over all radio and TV. Order 10997, FEMA takes over gas stations and electric companies. Order 10998, FEMA takes over grocery stores and farms. Order 10999, FEMA controls movements of cars and boats. Order number 11,000, FEMA can suspend wage laws and put labor forces to work without pay. Order number 11,001, FEMA takes over hospitals and schools. FEMA answers only to the National Security Council and the President. Congress cannot intervene for 6 months.
So you got to wonder, is that why the federal government hasn't given cities like St. Louis so much as a dime for their own consequence management?
The Federal Emergency Management Agency is a blessing for victims of natural disasters, but in a nationwide crisis, FEMA has the legal authority to replace the U.S. government. Why would such a system be created unless there's a conspiracy to use it? Established in 1979 as a simple departmental merger, FEMA has gained enormous power. It can provide the muscle and machinery for an already existing shadow government to take charge anywhere in America. This group of non-elected bureaucrats can declare martial law, arrest dissidents, and suspend some of our constitutional rights, all in the name of national security.
Next thing, they'll be breeding us like cattle for food. You gotta tell them. You gotta tell them.
They're going to bring the kids in with guns to their head and threaten them in that way. But what about the idea of reminding him that his kids are in custody and leaving open the possibility that who knows what's going to happen to them if he doesn't start sharing information?
They are trying to get him to talk by making him fear for the well-being of his children, and to fear so strongly for their well-being that it basically breaks his will then you're slipping into, if not torture, cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment.
But again, who defines that? I mean, I understand there's a definition here, and I see the definition, but it doesn't define it beyond just saying that severe pain or suffering, whether physical or mental. It seems that every day law enforcement uses techniques where they lie, they trick. It seems that every day law enforcement uses techniques where they lie, they trick. They get people to trust them, etc.
That's okay. Lying and tricking, getting people to trust you, that's all okay. And you're right to point out that these aren't norms that are, you know, written hard and fast and easily. Obviously, if you put electric shocks to somebody's genitals, that's torture. How much you can kind of play around psychologically is a much more difficult to judge.
Dr. Wheeler, welcome. Tell us what you want to do to this guy.
Whatever is necessary to extract the information that he has out of his brain. And I mean whatever is necessary.
Well, when you say whatever is necessary, you'd cause him any amount of pain, any amount of torture for a long period of time. Would that be acceptable to you?
It's acceptable, but it's not necessary because I think it can be extracted a lot quicker.
All right, you have some, I just want to put up on the screen here. Here's what you say, just to get to the heart of this here. Here's what you say in your piece today, your op-ed piece. You say, place him under the fMRI brain scanner, put him on a mechanical respirator, give him an injection of a paralytic drug, and then what do you make sure he's telling the truth, and when he's not, you just take him off the respirator for a period of time, right? Make him start suffocating.
You put him under a mechanical respirator, and what you do is you've paralyzed his lungs so he can't breathe. You've got him under this fMRI, which you can tell by the brain scan if he's lying or if he's telling the truth.
It is my responsibility to provide a legal framework and context in which detentions are understood and sustained.
I mean, our police in Austin, Texas, where I live, they've got lines of armored personnel carriers downtown now. They've all got these weird black uniforms and ski masks. They've got cameras and microphones hanging out of the trees. But there's crack dealers lining the streets. They won't bust them. But they'll pull you over and your family and demand to search your car in violation of the Fourth Amendment. This is turning into Nazi Germany. I don't care what anybody says. The evidence is everywhere.
How do we tell who you guys are without your badge numbers being visible? Man, I feel like I'm in Mexico or Russia. This is great. Except it's not tropical. So there's no way for us to tell who you are. I mean, how do we tell who you guys are? We don't?
You don't need to know who I am, so don't worry about it.
We don't need to know who you are?
Go around, please.
Were you aware that that is a textbook case of a country that isn't free, where the police say you don't need to know who we are? Does that mean the people are a criminal group at large, guilty until proven innocent? I mean, you would want to know who I am. You know the state law of failure to ID, or I could be arrested if I didn't have an ID card who I was. But you're saying you won't tell us who you are? Are on the border where the thousands of people are pouring across every day, but I guess that's not really what it's about. You guys itching to use the goodies tonight? All the way around. Hey, you know, it's funny how 5 years ago all the departments got a federal fund for these get-ups. But I don't think it projects dominance. I think it projects corruption. We can't see your badge numbers. What is your badge number, officer? Sir, what is your badge number? Officer. Officer Black. Well, I can't tell if it's a police officer. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the announcements tell us that if they don't have a badge number, won't present a badge, we don't know if they're police. You've heard about the women getting pulled over, the guy dressed up like a cop and getting raped. But we don't even know if these are police, ladies and gentlemen. We are still trying to find out if you are peace officers. We've been unable to see any badge numbers or names. Is it simply black uniform, GRU, or is it Stasi?